Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into this pretty wild concept called polyintelligence.
Yeah, it's a fascinating one, for sure. You've given me quite the stack of research to wade through.
Oh yeah, I figured we go all in, right?
Absolutely.
And it's all kind of come about from this 2025 annual letter from Nubar Afeyan,
Right.
who is the founder and CEO of Flagship Pioneering. And he's really pushing this idea of, combining these different kinds of intelligence, like the human intelligence, AI intelligence, and even intelligence that we find in nature.
That's the one that really grabs you, right?
Nature's intelligence. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You've got my attention there. But before we go too far down that road,
Sure.
when we say intelligence, what are we even really talking about?
Well, so Afeyan actually goes beyond the sort of typical definition of, intelligence equals problem solving.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of describes it as this ability to learn.
Okay.
And then to encode those learnings into models. And then to use those models to actually make decisions and take action.
So it's not just about knowing stuff.
Right.
It's about how you apply that knowledge to do something.
Exactly.
To make something happen.
Exactly. And that's where it starts to get, I think, even more interesting.
Yeah.
Because this definition of intelligence that he puts forward can apply to a whole lot more than just us humans.
Give me an example. Like, what are you talking about?
Think about viruses. Viruses actually, they evolve and adapt to their environment, learning how to better infect cells.
So they're essentially creating models
Yeah.
of their hosts.
They are. And they're using those models to spread and survive. You can even see it with plants.
Okay.
Plants demonstrate intelligence.
I never thought of a plant as intelligent.
Right.
But I guess when you put it that way.
They respond to light.
Yeah.
They seek out nutrients. They defend themselves against threats. They're taking in information from the environment. They're encoding that into some kind of model and then using that to guide their actions.
Okay.
Afeyan even goes so far as to say that even markets can be intelligent.
Markets.
The stock market.
Yeah.
Processing information all the time. Prices, supply and demand, even like news and social media trends. It takes all that data.
It does.
Creates these models.
Right.
And then those influence how people buy and sell.
Okay.
And it's this self-regulating system. It's learning and adapting, even if it seems a bit unpredictable at times.
It can be. Okay, so if nature
has this kind of intelligence, how is it encoded?
Where is the information?
DNA. That's the answer.
DNA? Okay.
Nature's blueprint, shaped by billions of years of evolution. Every organism on Earth is carrying this incredibly complex code that has the instructions for everything.
Yeah.
From building proteins to regulating behaviors. It's like nature's software. And we're just starting to understand it, really.
Yeah, just scratching the surface.
Right.
Absolutely.
And this is where I think AI comes into play.
Yeah.
Right? Because we've seen this just explosion of AI capabilities recently.
Absolutely.
Particularly with these powerful language models like ChatGPT.
Afeyan actually highlights the importance of this recent AI boom by pointing to the 2025 Nobel Prizes in physics and chemistry. And these prizes were awarded for the very technologies that are driving this AI revolution that we're all talking about and experiencing. And it's all connected to a really major milestone from a couple of decades ago, the Human Genome Project.
The early 2000s.
Right.
That project gave us the first complete map of the human genome.
It did.
And I'm guessing that's when AI and biotech really started to come together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Suddenly we had the tools to analyze the complexities of the genetic code.
Like never before. And AI became essential in trying to decipher this vast amount of information contained within DNA.
Okay, but let's be real. Whenever we talk about AI, there's always this kind of undercurrent of anxiety, AI hallucinations, bias, the potential for misuse. It can feel a little scary.
It's understandable.
To be honest.
It is. But Afeyan reminds us that all learning, whether it's happening in nature or in humans or in machines, it involves trial and error.
Right.
AI is going to make mistakes.
So we shouldn't panic every time an AI chatbot gives a weird answer.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Afeyan is actually quite optimistic
about
AI.
Yeah.
He believes the potential benefits far outweigh the risks.
Okay.
Especially when we combine it
Great.
with human intelligence and natural intelligence. It's about finding the balance.
It's about responsible AI.
Exactly.
I like that. But it also begs the question, if we're trying to learn from nature's intelligence, how do we even recognize it?
Right.
When it doesn't look like ours?
That's a great point.
I mean, what if we're missing something?
Yeah, we often underestimate or misinterpret intelligence that doesn't fit our human-centered perspective.
Right.
And a fan provides this fascinating example.
Go ahead.
Sperm whales communicate through these intricate patterns of clicks.
Wait, whales are talking in code?
That's right.
How do we figure that out?
It turns out there were far too many clicks for researchers to actually analyze manually.
Okay.
So they had to turn to AI.
Oh, wow.
And they used machine learning to decode the patterns.
So what they were saying?
Yeah. What they discovered was pretty incredible. Those clicks formed this complex alphabet.
Oh, wow.
That whales use to communicate with each other.
That's amazing.
It is.
It really makes you wonder how much we're missing.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the right tools yet.
Absolutely. And this brings us to the story of junk DNA.
Junk DNA.
Which is this term that was used to describe parts of our genome that we didn't understand.
Oh, so we thought it was useless.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But flagship pioneering saw an opportunity in this so-called junk. They suspected there was more to the story, like a hidden intelligence waiting to be uncovered. So they founded this company called Profound Therapeutics.
Okay.
And they're using AI to discover thousands of previously unknown proteins hidden within that junk DNA.
So what does that mean for medicine? What does that mean?
It's potentially revolutionary.
I mean?
Because understanding these proteins could lead to entirely new ways to treat diseases. Imagine personalized medicine that's tailored to your unique genetic makeup, targeting specific proteins involved in your illness.
That sounds like science fiction.
That does.
But it's happening.
But it's happening right now.
Now. That's amazing.
When Flagship isn't just talking about polyintelligence, they're actually putting it into practice across a huge range of fields.
Give me the highlights. What are some of the most exciting things
that they're working on?
Some of the coolest stuff, I think, is in immune therapies. So they have a company called Repertoire Immune Medicines.
Okay.
And they're using polyintelligence to develop these incredibly precise treatments for autoimmune diseases and cancer.
So instead of like the typical approach of attacking the entire immune system, they're going after very specific targets.
Exactly. They're mimicking the natural processes of the immune system.
Oh, wow.
But with a level of precision that was previously impossible.
That's incredible.
And so they're identifying the specific cells and molecules involved in the disease. And then developing therapies that target only those, leaving healthy cells unharmed. So that could be a game changer.
It really could be.
For a lot of people. What else?
They have another company called Quotient Therapeutics. And they're using AI to map genetic mutations. And their effects. And they're basically trying to figure out why some cells are resistant to disease.
So they're looking for the genetic superheroes.
You could say that, yeah.
The ones that can fight off the illness.
Right. And this knowledge could lead to personalized therapy that target the specific genetic vulnerabilities of a disease.
Okay, so this is a whole new level
of
precision medicine.
It really is.
That's amazing. This is all fascinating, but I have to ask. How does polyintelligence apply to something like climate change?
Well, Flagship has a company called Inari.
Inari.
Yeah. And they're using polyintelligence to address that.
Okay.
They're focused on accelerating crop evolution to withstand the challenges of a changing climate.
So are they using AI and gene editing?
They are.
To make crops more resilient?
Precisely.
Wow.
So by combining their understanding of plant genetics with AI, they're developing crops that can thrive in harsher conditions. Think drought, heat, pests. And these crops could actually require fewer resources and ultimately help ensure food security.
That's huge.
As the climate changes.
So you're saying polyintelligence could help us feed the world?
It really could.
Even as the climate changes.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's a hopeful thing.
It is hopeful.
Yeah, and it's not just about crops.
Okay.
Flagship's looking at how polyintelligence can be applied to energy production to material science, even space exploration, the possibilities
the sky's the limit.
Are pretty much endless.
It's like we're on the verge of this new renaissance where the boundaries between science and technology and nature are blurring.
And remember Leonardo da Vinci?
Oh, yeah.
He was a master of drawing inspiration from nature for his inventions and his artwork.
Yeah.
Well, Flagship is taking a similar approach with Polyintelligence. They're using AI to kind of learn the rules of nature and then push beyond those limits.
I see.
To create new solutions.
So they're not just copying nature.
Right.
They're learning from it and then innovating on top of that.
Exactly. A great example is Generate Biomedicines.
Okay.
They've created this AI called Chroma that can design brand new proteins not found anywhere in nature.
Wait, so they're inventing new biological building blocks? That's incredible.
These designer proteins have the potential to revolutionize medicine.
Oh, wow.
Creating therapeutics for diseases that were previously untreatable.
That's amazing. What other examples?
There's ebiologics.
Okay.
And they're building totally synthetic biomolecules with properties that go beyond what's even possible in nature.
Yeah.
So they're creating this entirely new biological toolbox, writing their own biological code.
So they're hacking the code of life.
Pretty much.
That's incredible.
Yeah, the applications are so diverse. New drug delivery systems, advanced materials with unique properties. I mean,
this is so fascinating, but I have to admit, it's a little daunting to think about all the unknowns that come with this kind of radical shift in our understanding.
It's natural.
To feel that way. But remember, this isn't about replacing human intelligence with AI.
Right.
It's about creating a partnership, a synergy between human ingenuity, the power of AI, and the wisdom of nature.
So it's about collaboration.
It is.
Not
competition. Exactly. And that has the potential to really transform not just science and medicine, but how we work, how we learn, and how we interact with the world around us.
It's not just a technological revolution.
Right.
It's a societal one.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm starting to see the bigger picture here.
Yeah.
But it also raises the question, how do we make sure?
That's a great question. This incredible power is used responsibly. How do we prevent unintended consequences?
That is the big question.
Yeah.
And one that Afayan really grapples with in his letter.
Okay.
He argues that as we go deeper into nature's intelligence, we're going to encounter ideas and concepts that we may not immediately grasp.
Okay.
And we need to find a way to navigate this uncharted territory.
It's like exploring a new continent.
It is.
Full of wonder and potential dangers.
Absolutely.
Right?
Flagship has actually adopted this very unique approach to this challenge.
Yeah.
They call it future backward.
Future backward.
Yeah. It means they start by envisioning a better future. A future where polyintelligence is being used to solve humanity's biggest challenges, and then they work backward from that vision.
I see.
Figuring out what technologies and innovations are needed to get there.
So they have the goal in mind,
right?
And then they use polyintelligence as the tool to chart the path.
Exactly. It's a way of anticipating challenges and opportunities, of making sure that their work aligns with their mission of improving human and planetary health.
It sounds like they're trying to strike this balance between
I think so.
Pushing the boundaries of science and ensuring those discoveries are used ethically and responsibly.
Exactly. And that's where human intelligence plays a crucial role.
Right.
In polyintelligence.
It's not just about letting AI run wild.
Exactly.
It's about using our values and our creativity, our understanding of the human condition to guide its development.
That's right.
So it's not enough to just create powerful AI. We have to make sure it's aligned with our human values.
Absolutely.
That's a great point. But let's bring it back to our listeners.
Sure.
How does all this relate to their everyday lives? Why should they care about polyintelligence?
You know, polyintelligence may sound abstract, but it's already impacting our lives in profound ways, even if we don't always realize it.
Okay, how so?
Think about the personalized medicine recommendations you might get from your doctor based on your genetic profile or the algorithms that are powering our social media feeds, our online shopping experiences. They're getting increasingly sophisticated.
So polyintelligence is already shaping how we receive healthcare, consume information, even make decisions.
It is. And as these technologies evolve, their influence is only going to grow.
So polyintelligence is going to impact how we work,
Absolutely.
how we learn, how we solve those big global challenges like climate change, food security.
It's all of that.
It's not just changing our world, it's changing how we understand our place in the world.
It really is.
That's incredible.
It challenges us to rethink our definition of intelligence,
Right.
to reconnect with the wisdom of nature,
Yeah.
and to embrace this more collaborative,
Yeah.
interconnected way
Yeah.
of being in the world.
This has been incredibly insightful,
Yeah,
but I have to say I'm a little overwhelmed
it's a lot.
by the sheer scale of it all. I mean, where do we even begin
Right?
to prepare for a future
That's the question.
where polyintelligence is everywhere?
That is the question, and it's a great one. And it's actually one we're going to explore further
Okay.
in the final part of our deep dive.
All right, let's do it.
So where do we even begin to prepare for a future like this?
Yeah, that's a great question. And luckily, Afan actually addresses this in his letter.
He does.
He believes that we need to kind of shift our mindset about education and learning.
Okay, so what does that even look like?
Yeah, do we all need to go back to school and become programmers or geneticists to...
You all need to become like hardcore coders?
Yeah, to even keep up.
Not necessarily. I mean, while those skills are super valuable,
Yeah.
I think the most important shift is actually in how we think about the world. We need to move away from this purely analytical, compartmentalized way of thinking, the kind that breaks everything down into these separate boxes. You have your science box, you have your humanities box.
Right.
We need to kind of move away from that and instead cultivate a more holistic, interconnected approach.
Okay. So less like a computer processing information in a linear way and more like an ecosystem where everything is linked and influencing each other.
Exactly. And it's about getting comfortable with complexity, with ambiguity, with the ideal that there isn't always one right answer.
Right.
Because in a polyintelligence world, I think problems and solutions are rarely that straightforward.
You know, it makes me think of Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah.
Like he was the ultimate polymath.
He was.
Constantly curious, able to connect ideas from art, science, engineering, things that most people saw as totally unrelated.
Totally. I think that's a great comparison.
Right. That kind of polymathic mindset that is going to be crucial. It's about having that thirst for knowledge across different fields, the willingness to experiment and learn from your mistakes, that knack for spotting patterns in seemingly random information.
That's a tall order for a lot of us.
It is a shift.
For sure.
For sure. But it's not about becoming an expert in everything.
Okay.
It's more about being open to learning new things, to making connections between different fields, and seeing that bigger picture.
So instead of specializing in just one tiny area, we need to become more adaptable.
Yeah.
More well-rounded.
Yeah. More T-shaped, they call it. Yeah. Where you have your depth of knowledge and then that breadth across other areas.
Right. I like that.
And it's not just about individual skills, right? We also need to encourage this collaboration and interdisciplinary thinking on a much larger scale, like breaking down those silos.
Yeah, between academia, industry, and government.
Creating these spaces where people with all these different backgrounds and expertise can actually come together, share their knowledge.
Yes. Build a kind of collective polyintelligence network where the whole is greater
I love that.
than the sum of its parts.
I love that. And making sure it's inclusive.
Yes.
Making sure everyone has that opportunity to contribute and benefit.
Absolutely.
That brings up another point. The ethics of all this.
Right.
As AI gets more and more powerful, how do we make sure it's used for good? How do we prevent it from causing harm?
That's perhaps the biggest challenge of all.
Yeah.
We need to establish these strong ethical frameworks for developing and using AI.
Yeah.
And they need to be grounded in human rights and social justice.
Yeah.
And environmental sustainability.
Yeah.
It can't just be about making AI smarter.
Right.
It's about making it wiser.
Yeah.
Making sure that it's aligned with our values.
So it's about making sure that it's serving humanity.
Yes.
And not the other way around.
Exactly.
Okay. It sounds like we have a lot to figure out.
We do.
But I have to say, I'm feeling a sense of hope amidst all of this complexity. It feels like we're on the verge of something truly transformative.
I agree with you. I think the emergence of polyintelligence is a defining moment for humanity.
Yeah.
And I think it's a chance to redefine what it means to be intelligent.
Yeah.
To reconnect with nature's wisdom in a new way.
I love that.
And unlock incredible possibilities for the future.
This deep dive has been a wild ride, I'm not going to lie.
It has.
Challenged my assumptions, sparked my curiosity.
That's what we like to do.
Left me feeling incredibly inspired.
Well, it's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
Yeah.
And I hope that our listeners are feeling that same sense of wonder and possibility.
If you're feeling as fired up as we are,
yes,
keep the conversation going.
Share your thoughts.
Share your questions, your own explorations of polyintelligence with the world.
Remember, this is just the beginning.
It is.
Of a much larger journey. And it's a journey that's going to require all of our collective intelligence, creativity, and courage.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Keep seeking knowledge, keep asking questions, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.